If you, at the cortex level, which is conscious mind, if you loop around enough worrisome thoughts and imagine enough things going wrong, if it gains enough momentum, that energy, that emotion that builds up as a result, that will trigger a response in the amygdala, and the amygdala has the ability to completely hijack your whole body, which is why it's stupid when people say to someone that's experienced a panic attack, a really, really bad one, just stop thinking about things going wrong, or just stop doing it. That's cortex-based. But if it's escalated to that high extreme level, then they actually need to take control of their body. They need to take control of their body, they need to relax all their muscles, they need to control their breathing. And once they've got that control back over the body and the amygdala calms down, then you can start doing some cortex-based methods. But if you want to have the anxiety in itself implode, what's proven to work really, really well is exposure-based therapy. So systematic is, imagine I'm going to the shops and I'm fearful of talking to, I go to the shops and I'm fearful of parking in the shops. So that could be like, for me, 10 out of 10 in regards to anxiety and fear. The actual act of trying to find a park and to drive into that park at a shopping center, this is 10 out of 10 in regards to fear and anxiety. Now, using a systematic approach or systematic desensitization, I would then decide, okay, what are a couple of steps in between that I could build up to? So for example, one might be driving to the shop with the intention of driving in and parking my car. That might trigger 3 out of 10 anxiety for me. But what you do is exposure-based therapy. To desensitize the response, you would drive to the shops and you do that a couple of times. Each time you're okay. Because basically the reason why you've got a disproportionate amount of anxiety is because at some stage your unconscious mind or your amygdala has associated this thing, this stimulus, with danger. And you essentially need to retrain it to say, hey, that's not death, that's not danger, I won't die, I will be okay. Then you build up. You then do something else, like driving into the car park and looping around it. That might be 5 out of 10 on the fear/anxiety scale. But you do that a couple of times and it's okay. You didn't die, everything's all right. You breathe through it, you relax your muscles. You do those relaxation techniques. And then you might actually get all the way up to the thing that actually creates the massive anxiety. And you just do it. But once again, because you've built up to it, doing that systematic desensitization, but if you were to just drive straight into that car park and try to do it right away, you'd probably get overwhelmed and have a meltdown, right? But because you've built up to it, you've then increased your chances of being able to do it yourself. Now, the other option in regards to doing exposure therapy is called flooding. Now, that is where you essentially, as the name suggests, jump straight into the pool. Now, the funny thing is, who's ever jumped in a cold pool before? You walk up, you touch it, you're like, whoa, that's really, really cold. And you're like, I don't want to get in. Well, what happens when you jump in and your whole body goes underwater? Pretty quickly, your body gets used to it, right? Pretty quickly. So it's the same with flooding. So what we do is, that thing that gives you anxiety, it's like, hey, here, let's do a flooding exercise. You're scared of snakes, catch a snake. Snake's on you. But then you don't die. You're actually okay. And it's teaching your amygdala that this thing does not equal death, therefore I don't need to have this irrational amount of anxiety. That's a very neuroscience-based approach to dealing with anxiety. But in effect, that fear is your focus. Because remember that if you're imagining things going wrong, whether or not you've got amygdala-based anxiety or cortex-based anxiety, if you're doing the cortex-based stuff, which is conscious mind, imagining things going wrong, that will, with enough momentum and energy, stimulate an unconscious amygdala-based response. So if you're doing that anxiety pattern, you need to be conscious of that. You need to stop focusing on things going wrong, imagine things going right, and just move forward. Fear. Next, you've got hurt. What do you think hurt could be for?